guys, welcome to the special webcast we put together where we're going to go in detail on this new business plan that we're releasing to you on inspections. So I'm sorry I couldn't be in studio to join you guys, but I'm out here in Mexico kicking it up, having a good time, and working on some really cool top secret stuff. So Diego is going to cover all the details, and I'll be around for Q&A if and when that comes up. All right? So I know you guys are going to be excited. This is really, really a labor of love, and this is going to be a powerful tool for you to have in your arsenal. So without any further delay, let's turn it over to Diego, and he can explain all the details. Take it over, Diego.
What's up, everybody? So glad to be here with you today. Let's rock and roll. It is a big day for us to have this webcast here with you guys, and we want to get right into it. So again, we got everybody here. I see you guys all online right in front of me. You know the deal. These are live. So if you have any questions, send your text above to the number 208-477-1558 or the email address, it's on one of these sides, webcast@powermarketing.net. But of course, the easiest way to interact is to type your questions and your interaction here beneath me using Facebook or Twitter, or just logging in using your name. So again, just type your name here beneath us, and we will get to your questions at the end of the webcast today. Of course, today is a very special webcast. You guys heard from Damon there. He is actually in Mexico right now because he's a Mexican, and that's where Mexicans go. They go to Mexico. I was in Mexico last week, and I'm actually overcoming a little bit of sickness because, believe it or not, even though I almost never get sick unless my immune system is compromised, it was compromised because I was scuba diving in Cozumel. Get a zoom in on this. You guys see that? This is a little bit of leftovers. You can see there in my hand. I got stung by a jellyfish, a couple of them actually. I'm not going to lift up the side of my shirt right here, but I had like one of those diseases that looked like from those movies, you know, like those end of the world movies where people get all the, you know, their veins and stuff are showing and all it looks crazy because they get some crazy end of the world disease like, you know those movies, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I had that on my side over here. It's mostly healed up. This now, of course, is the only thing a little bit left. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. So I had somebody tell me if I use a taser and I tase myself that it breaks up the poison of the sting. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I was dumb enough to try it. And I was like, ah! Anyhow, long story short, guys, Damon's down there having a good time. And so he's not here with us in studio today. I'm going to go ahead and go through the inspection services business plan with you guys. We're really excited to release it for a whole host of reasons. But the first reason is this is our first full-fledged business plan that we're releasing at an advanced level. So as these business plans continue to roll out, and as you guys know, Damon has promised everybody to have us create at least one new one every single year. And this year, we already gave you guys one, which was the video production business plan, which is an unlimited business plan in terms of its potential. And we have some people crushing it out there using that business plan. So why are we releasing a second one when we already made good on the promise that we had to you guys to deliver one to you? So why are you getting a second one? The answer is simple. Because we love you, man. Because we love you. It's because you guys are awesome and because, of course, we always want to over-deliver. So we do apologize for not having time to have this presentation 2 weeks ago. It was, of course, postponed until today, but it was worth it. And, of course, you guys are going to have this forever, so it doesn't really matter. So you guys are going to have all this content forever. As soon as this webcast is over, all of the information, the webcast, excuse me, not the webcast, the actual business plan in PDF format and the resources we're going to deliver to you will be immediately available in the Dropbox as soon as we're done with the presentation today, and you guys will have it forever. So let's go ahead and get right into it, okay? So bring on up my presentation, and let's talk about the inspection business plan. So a little bit of background about this, by the way, because this is a long time coming. We've been working on this for over 1.5 years, which is a long time. I can't tell you all my secrets. We are working on 2 right now as we speak, and one of them we've been working on for also over 1.5 years. And so there's another 2 working. They're not going to be ready this year, but you know these things take a long time to be prepared and ready to deliver for prime time to you guys. But this one's been taking a long time, and one of the reasons why is because aerial inspections is so broad and so wide. There's so many different type of services that you can offer when it comes down to aerial inspections. And when we create a business plan, we create these business plans for you that have to be very specific and targeted so that they're sustainable, repeatable, and easily accessible by hundreds of you guys. And so it's not something that's a one-off deal. So it's something that's very specific and targeted. So if it's too broad, we really can't create it and produce it. And so that was a problem we had in this industry. It's the big reason why we have nothing in ag so far, because ag, there's a gazillion different reasons why. I'm personally in charge of getting that taken care of, and I'm going to tell you right now, because of where that particular marketplace is right now, I just put it on the shelf. People are making money right now in ag, and we want you to do it. You don't need to wait for us to create a business plan. But ag is a giant mess. The technical term is a cluster. Okay, that's what ag is right now. And aerial inspections was in many ways very broad, and because of that, it was difficult to target. So over time, we came up with a very specified service. And this service works incredibly. It's very powerful, and it's also unique to the SkyEye network. And so this service is good for a half a dozen or more marketplaces, and some of them it doesn't work for at all. So for example, roofing inspections is a very specific type of inspections, and this business plan doesn't cover roofing inspections. So let me share with you what it is. Here, of course, is the cover. You guys have already seen this. But very specifically, what you guys are going to be offering are visual integrity archive services. This is what aerial inspections is all about. I'll say it again. Visual integrity archive services. You say, well, what is that? I'm going to explain it to you right now. Some of you, of course, are already doing it because you guys have been part of our testing process for the last year and a half. But the point is, we're going to share this with you guys right now, and you guys are going to know exactly what this is and how to execute it, okay? So before I get right into it, I want to remind you of the fact that there are different levels for each of these business plans. And I'm going to tell you straight up right now as we get started that this business plan, as exciting as it is, it's not accessible by everybody right now. And by that I mean not that you can't have access to it. You guys all have access to it. I just mean some of you at the stage in your business where you're at right now, you're not ready to handle an inspection project yet, probably. If you're brand new and you don't have any clients yet and you haven't done anything yet, or maybe you're relatively new and you're just getting started and you've done a couple of shoots here and a couple of shoots there, maybe you've done some aerial imagery projects, maybe you did one video production project and it's still just you're a solo operator, just you with your drone and that's it, aerial inspections is not for you yet. That doesn't mean you should be discouraged. In fact, on the contrary, you should be very encouraged because of what I'm about to share with you is so exciting and such a powerful means and tool for growing your business and building a business asset that it might be exactly what some of you guys need to fire you up to kick some major booty so that you could build your business up to be ready to execute this business plan, okay? So let me give you a quick reminder about the existing business plans. Of course, you guys have aerial imagery, which is a beginner one. You have real estate, which is beginner level as well, meaning anybody can do it. Video production is a little bit more intermediate. You guys remember when we released that earlier this year. And now, of course, we have inspections, which is advanced. And let me explain how and why I mean that. And by doing so, I want to give you some pros and cons of each and every single one of those business plans that I just described for you. So let's first talk about aerial imagery, which for me is the most exciting one for anybody getting started. If I was getting started, and by the way, I'll let you guys know a little secret. I'll tell you guys more about this in the future. I'm so excited about this business, and I'm so excited about this marketplace and industry. You guys know that I'm a business investor, and I invest in businesses around the country and world. I just went ahead and started my own drone business. I said, this is ridiculous. Why would I not be involved in this myself? I don't want to just be involved at the SkyEye network level. I want to be involved at the ground level as well. So yes, I started my own business as well. So I am now just like you guys because I believe in this industry that much. And my business is called Sky Shark because what else would it be called? Sky Shark, you know, because I love sharks. Okay, I love turtles too, but Sky Turtle, it just sounds wussy. You know what I'm saying? So it was Sky Shark. Anyhow, here's the deal. When it comes to aerial imagery, here's the pros. The pros are that anybody can do it. It's super easy to make money immediately, like as in today. You can get unlimited referrals doing it. It's an easy upsell, and you don't need expensive equipment. In other words, you can do aerial imagery with just a Mavic. That's all you need to get going. So anybody can do this, and it's really unlimited, and you can do it by yourself. That's a potential pro when you get started. The fact that you can do it by yourself is definitely a pro. On the con side of the fence, though, however, is that you're going to be doing most of the work. So you're not really building a sustainable business asset as much as you're working for yourself. Nothing wrong with working for yourself, but you're not building a sustainable business asset, and now you're still doing all the work. The The other thing is that it's non-contractual, meaning it's a one-off hit. You're going to do a shot for somebody, you can upsell them to a video project later and maybe 2 or 3 video projects throughout the year, but it's not a contract-based marketplace where you're getting consistent cash flow every single month based on a contract, which of course would be the coolest thing. The next one, of course, is, I'm just checking here, I thought I had a note there, but we're still good. Okay, real estate as well. Real estate, the pros, the same thing. Anybody could do it. It's easy to make money right away. Another big one here is repeat business. So the repeat business here is great. As you guys know, I call real estate free money, and the reason for that is anybody can do it, and it's going to be done by everybody in the real estate industry in time. Meaning, everybody's going to do it, and somebody's going to get paid to do it, so it might as well be you. So it's free money once you build your staff and your system up, and you have pilots and photographers handling that for you. Another big important one about real estate, and this is why I still encourage it, even though I'm not a big fan of that service itself, is that it's a portable business model. And by that I mean you can port the business model of real estate into at least a half a dozen other industries. Hospitality industry is one of them. Auto dealerships is another one. We can go on and on and on. But the point is, it's the same business model, taking videos and pictures and posting them on the internet for people who are going to be selling their products or services. Very powerful business model. Once you have it in place, you can port it to other industries. And so it's a valuable, very valuable business model to execute and business plan to execute so that you have in place that business model for others. Again, the cons though here, of course, guys, is that it's a commodity. And by commodity, I mean at some point in time, everybody's going to be doing it. And so it is a commodity, not a value add, not a real value add service. There's also definitely no lasting effect on the services that you have rendered. In other words, nobody really cares about the pictures you take. If you do aerial imagery and you take pictures of people's businesses, they love those pictures and they're emotionally attached to them forever. You take pictures of somebody's house to sell, they'll sell it in 48 hours and those pictures are gone. Nobody will ever see them again and they don't care because it's just there to sell the house and it's done. It's a one and done type of thing. Okay. Other problem, of course, is you either need a photographer or camera equipment. So you need additional equipment beyond just your drone. Video production, the pros here, of course, that you got unlimited potential. Is repeat business. There's multiple niches you can be involved in. It's very easy to get referrals. And most important for me with video production is that when you get started, is that this is true entrepreneurship. You are actually having to be a true entrepreneur once you get to the video production level because now you're running a business instead of just doing the job. Remarkably, the higher number, the vast majority of Sky Network members who are succeeding in the video production field and the video production marketplace using the video production business plan are those who have no experience as video production people. They don't use Final Cut Pro, they don't use Premiere Pro, they're not video editors. And it's the video editors who struggle the most because, again, they're not exercising entrepreneurship, they're just doing the work. I'm not negating that, we're not downplaying that. I'm just saying that that is not the level of entrepreneurship where we want people to grow into. You can still make a lot of money doing it yourself that way, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we still want to encourage you to at least exercise, dip your toe in the water and try the process of delegating that and hiring people to do the work for you. So that's video production. Of course, some of the cons there is that you need to be a skilled entrepreneur. So I'm over here talking up the idea about being a true entrepreneur, but if you're not there yet, it is a scary step to take because you're going up the ladder, you're moving forward, but it's a very important one to make. So you really won't be able to do that. And this is why it's intermediate level. This is when you're running a business and not doing the work. And that is an incredibly important distinction to make. If you're flying the drone, if you're taking the pictures, if you're editing the photos, if you're editing the videos, if you're doing the actual work, that's not true entrepreneurship. That just means that you're working for yourself. Nothing wrong with that. That's being a business owner. But there's a big difference between being a business owner and working for yourself and being an entrepreneur. And we want you to take the step up being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur creates jobs for other people and you profit based off of that opportunity. This means you have to be able to learn how to delegate and let other people do the work. Now, let's talk about inspections. So inspections is what we're talking about today, and I want to give you guys the pros and cons of inspections. So the first major pro is that almost all inspection work is going to be contract work, where you're signing a contract with somebody. This is not a one-off deal. It's not, I'm going to take some pictures and I'm gone. These should all be contract-based agreements that you're making with people. You're going to be working with much larger businesses, and in doing so, you're going to have steady cash flow. This is incredibly important as you build your business. If you guys are out there right now doing, say, for example, real estate and aerial imagery, or some of you guys are doing things outside of the business plans we've created, which is fantastic. Most of you guys that we work with and we talk to, you're always chasing your money. In other words, you don't really know how much money you're going to make each month because you're always chasing your money with new projects and new jobs. No big deal, because if you're making $150,000 to $250,000 a year, you don't really care if you're chasing your money. But the point is the cash flow is not steady. You don't know, I'm going to get a check for $20,000 on the first of the month every month. It's not steady cash flow. And so when you have steady cash flow, there's a lot of things that change in your business. The way you think changes, the way you operate changes. People are afraid. I mean, I've talked to people who are making over $300,000 a year, and they're afraid to hire somebody else to work for them. Why? Because I don't know if I could pay them. I'm like, dude, you made $300,000. But every month, they don't mentally know that that money's coming. They're working for it, working for it, working for it. And they might have cleared $30,000 to $50,000 in 1 month, but because they're working for it, they didn't know in advance it was going to be there. So it's the whole concept of knowing in advance the money that's going to be there. That's what we call cash flow. And that cash flow that's going to be there, when it's steady, it changes how you think and how you operate in business. I can't tell you how important steady cash flow is to the growth of a company, which is why a lot of people, even though they're making money, a lot of people still go out there and they try to get loans or business loans, or they try to get financed where they really don't need a business loan. It's purely a mental game. They're doing it because they want to have cash flow. They want to have money in the bank that they feel like, okay, this is there, I'm protected, I can take this risk. So that's a very, very, very important pro in the inspections marketplace. The next thing, of course, is that it's an asset building and a team building opportunity. What I mean by that is when you have contracts to do inspection work, you are building now your company as an asset. So it's not just your job, it's something that, hey, my company has these clients and we are worth $3 million a year, so my company is valued at $5 to $15 million, wherever you're at, and somebody could come by and buy your company. If all you are is if you're, Diego Rodriguez Drone Services, and I go out there and I sell, video production services and I take pictures, I can't sell that. I can't sell that company to somebody else because it's just me doing my work. Somebody else could hire me, but I can't sell the company off. So I haven't built an asset. All I've done is I've built my own brand, and I've allowed myself to get sucked into all the work thinking that I'm doing something fantastic. I might be making money, but I'm not building an asset. So this is a huge asset building opportunity. Secondarily, of course, is a great team building opportunity because in order to do this, you're forced to have a team. You can't do this by yourself. So if you're out there saying, I can't wait to go out there and do inspections and go out there and do a bunch of power lines and transmission lines and windmills and oil refineries. Okay, if it's just you, forget it. It's not going to happen. I hate to tell you that, but it's not going to happen. So when you have a team, that team, of course, is also going to change the way you think because now you're doing all this great inspection work, but you've got a team of people working for you. You have multiple pilots working for you. Maybe you got an office manager. Maybe you have some staff. You have 3 or 4 or 5 or even 10 of you or more. Once that staff exists, all of a sudden, you start changing how you think as well. And you start looking for horizontal expansion. And horizontal expansion means taking your existing business models, taking your existing assets, and using them in other marketplaces. And that's where growth happens exponentially, okay? Now, there are some cons here as well. So one of them is what I just said. You have to have a team. You can't do this on your own. Another one is that these are sales and contract-based relationships, meaning the ease of acquiring clients is not as easy as, say, aerial imagery, which you could do today. Boom. I mean, I could go out there with any one of you guys today and we can line up 2 or 3 clients and make $300 a piece for every single one of those 2 or 3 clients today and be done in the next 5 hours. No problem, because you can get clients that fast in aerial imagery. Inspections, not so much. It's going to take you some time and you're going to have to be better at selling yourself and your company. So this becomes either something you have to become more adept and you have to be higher, you have to increase your skill levels at selling yourself and your business, or you're going to have to hire somebody and you're going to have to hire a salesperson to sell, again, your services and your business. So these are the differences. Now that you know what they all are, let's get right into the inspections opportunity. Now, again, remember, there's a million different ways to service this industry, meaning there's so many different ways to offer inspection services to so many different marketplaces and so many different industries. However, for the sake of simplicity, speed of implementation, sustainability, and expandability, that's a lot of abilities there, we're going to focus on one thing. Now, This one thing is incredibly powerful. I do want to encourage you guys to start here, but I want you to remember this is not the only way. And when I say it's not the only way, by way, I mean it's not the only service. This is not the only inspection-based service you can offer the marketplace. However, I do want to encourage you to start here because you guys can start here anybody here can start with this marketplace, all right? Excuse me, with this service offering that we're going to encourage you to provide to your marketplace. Now, let's talk about who the target market is really quick, and then we'll talk about what the service offering is. The target market we're looking at here are cell phone and radio towers, electricity and electronic transmission lines, bridges and dams. This gets a little bit more serious. Windmills, there's windmills all over the place, and oil refineries. Now, these are big companies, and these are huge contracts and great opportunities, but these are also serious businesses. So serious businesses don't work with guys who, I just got started last week. I just got started with Drone Command Live. You understand what I'm saying? So before you can go to a company who has radio towers and cell phone towers and anything, well, cell phone towers is Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Yes, but maintenance for all these towers and things like that is usually subcontracted to local regional areas. Same thing with electricity and electronic transmission lines, especially in more rural areas. Some of this stuff is subcontracted out. But even when it's not subcontracted out, you need to understand that huge companies, like I live in Idaho, we have Idaho Power. When I lived in California, it was PG&E, in Southern California, Edison. And you guys all over the place where you live, probably Texas Energy or Electricity, I don't know what it's called. But the point is that none of these companies do things monolithically when they're huge companies either in terms of maintenance and inspections. Those things are broken up into a regional authority, meaning if you're in a place like Texas, whatever the Texas Energy Company is, they don't go out there and say, we work with we're going to hire one contractor to do all of our inspections. Neither does Verizon say, we have one contractor to do everything nationwide. They don't do that. All of that responsibility is delegated to regional areas. They have the country divided up into areas, and there's regional management groups within their organizations who are responsible for their region to maintain all of their equipment, et cetera, and to do things like inspections. So you're working with large companies, but you're going to, 99% of the time, be working with regional groups within a larger organization. There are some oil refineries that you will work with directly just with that company, because a lot of the oil refineries are for example, an oil refinery in Northern California over there's a bunch of them. They're going to be working for a lot of different oil companies. They're not necessarily just owned by Chevron or Exxon or something like that. They're on contract. Everything's contract based. So this is your target market, okay, guys? Now, let's talk about the hot buttons for this target market. What are the things that these guys actually care about? Now remember, everything I'm sharing with you guys right now, it is and more in the business plan, but I want to give you the overview of what you guys are going to be doing, and I want you to hear it from me first, and then of course you guys can go through the detail of the business plan later that you'll have with you forever, and then this also gives you a chance to for us to have some Q&A at the end here. So the very first hot button is a very simple one. What these people care about is saving money, because drone-based aerial inspections save them a boatload of money, because most of these guys right now in their different industries, it requires full-time staff or very expensive contractors to be put in with very costly equipment and high personnel and insurance costs. I mean, let's just talk about power line transmissions, for example. You've got an entire crew of linemen out there with all this big, heavy gear, and they're up in those big buckets, and it's dangerous. People die every single year, but it costs a ton of money. And you can do actually not the same service, and this is something I can't emphasize enough. The aerial service and the inspections you'll be doing with the drone by taking high-resolution photos is not the same. It's actually better than what they're currently doing, and it's cheaper and it's faster in every way, shape, and form. So when we talk about saving money as the first major hot button, you can save most of these companies 50 to 90% or more. Now, when I say or more, you don't want to save them that much money because that's your profit, okay? So we'll talk about that in a minute. But the point is, saving money is a huge hot button. The next one is, I already mentioned it, it's saving time, because it takes a lot of time for them to schedule these inspections, for them to plan them, prepare for them, the whole works. There's a lot of time involved, and you're just going to save them a boatload of money. I've got a whole bunch of notes here you can see on screen, but the bottom line is saving time is a major hot button. Along with saving time is avoiding delays, because there's a lot of industries like oil refineries and electrical transmission lines where they actually have to shut down their operations in order to perform these otherwise routine inspections. And that is just death. They hate doing it, but it's part of their annual plan. They have to do it 2-3 times a year because they have to do their routine inspections and their maintenance. Well, with drones, you don't have to do that because no human is going to get fried or electrocuted or hurt or damaged or anything like that. You can do this with your drone. Okay, so these delays, by the way, are a very serious drain on the company and their production line and their time. So saving time and avoiding delays is huge. The next one, of course, and this is bigger than all of them, and it's kind of obvious in terms of the intensity of it, and that's safety. And this means protecting and saving lives. I mean, last year or 2 years ago, over 300 people died doing inspections in these industries. And in fact, I think it's a whole lot more than that. I think those numbers, if I'm not mistaken, are just for cell phone towers in 2016. But the point is, literally hundreds of people are dying every year doing these inspections. So it is a major hot button. I mean, I always talk about this at Drone Command Live, but it's a major hot button to be able to provide a service to people that saves lives. And it doesn't just save the lives of those people who are doing the work, but it saves the lives of the people who are responsible for those who are doing the work, because those people would otherwise have their lives ruined. If you were a manager and you sent somebody out to go do an inspection job and they died, not saving the world and not, defending freedom, but just inspecting a power line, you have to live with that for the rest of your life, and it will be a measure of PTSD and other problems you'll have for the rest of your life that could ruin your life, and it's ruined lots of people's lives already. Okay, so let's keep rocking and rolling. Okay, so I want to give you the major headline. We've already written and tested a major headline that is incredibly simple, hot button loaded, and very powerful and effective. And it's the one I want you to memorize in your lips and use all the time in the inspections marketplace. Now, that is simply this: save time, save money, and save lives with professional aerial inspection services. That's it. Save time, save money, and save lives. This is what it's all about. It's not about, I can do this, that, I can fly a drone high and inspect. You don't want to talk about inspections. You want to talk about saving time, saving money, and saving lives. That is what you're there to sell. Okay? So, what is the actual product, or what is the actual service that you are rendering for them? Well, what you are selling is what we call the Visual Integrity Archive. And that is exactly what it sounds like, and it is an incredibly powerful tool, and customers love it. What you are doing is you're providing these industries with a historical archive of photos of their equipment that show the visual integrity of the equipment. Hence the term Visual Integrity Archive. And this is what these guys are up there doing anyhow. When they're in those big buckets, they're inspecting for damage, they're looking for inventory, they're seeing if there's any problems. If there is, and they might have to shut things down and bring out another crew to fix it. Remember, the inspections crew and the repair crew are not necessarily the same in all these industries. Sometimes they are, but they're usually not, particularly the larger ones. Inspections are something that are done routinely. Repairs are something that are only done when, of course, an inspection shows that a repair is needed. Now, what you're doing is you're taking high-resolution pictures. It could be twice a month for many of these industries. Some of them it's less. Some of them it's a whole lot more. It just depends. But what you're doing is you're providing a visual historical archive in high resolution. Now, there's a couple of very important keys, 3 specific ones I want to share with you in terms of providing this service, and I'm going to show you exactly how you should do it. Number 1, quantity. So you need to take a lot of pictures. It's important to take a lot, and this is what's going to set you apart, because when it comes to data, it's always better to have more. Now, there is obviously a point where it can become overkill. So, 50 photos of a radio tower is definitely better than 3, and it's probably rock solid. But 300, that's probably too much, right? So the point is to have enough photos to cover every single critical component of the equipment that you're inspecting. When you're in doubt, I want to encourage you to err on the side of too many pictures instead of not enough. Now, again, every project's going to be different, guys. There's a difference between a 50-foot radio tower, a 100-foot radio tower. There's, cell phone towers are different from other ones. There's small dams and there's giant dams. there's small bridges, there's ginormous bridges. So again, this is one of those things, this is an advanced marketplace. This is where you got to put on your big boy pants, and sometimes you got to figure things out. You're going to be like, well, this detail wasn't in the business plan. Because details like how many pictures you're going to take, you're going to have to figure that out, because we can't tell you every single job is different. So we can't put it in a business plan. You're going to take 36 pictures every time. There's no formula. The point here, of course, is you want to have sufficient, so every critical component is covered, but not so many that it's overkill and the data becomes overwhelming to the point where it's not effective anymore, okay? So quantity is important. Number two, of course, is quality. It's really important to have high quality, high resolution photos. So one, you're gonna have to get relatively close to the equipment you're photographing. So this means you can't suck as a pilot. It also means the people you're hiring to work for you can't suck as pilots. You're gonna get relatively close within, 5 to 15 feet sometimes of whatever it is that you're photographing. So you're gonna get close to these things, and you're gonna have a very high quality camera as well, which means at a minimum right now, a Phantom 4 Pro would be the minimum. You can't use a Mavic as a piece of equipment for doing this type of professional work. Phantom 4 Pro would be the minimum. Who knows about the Mavic 2 that's coming out, but we'll see when that happens. But for right now, you want high resolution photos, and you can take them in JPEG quality. They don't have to be raw, because this is not, you're not delivering these photos for the sake of printing them or anything like that. JPEG will be fine. They're going to be high resolution, max resolution in your Phantom 4 Pro, which I believe it's an 18 megapixel image, but you're going to be taking a whole boatload of pictures here, okay? So the point is, the resolution has to be good enough so that the visual integrity of the equipment that you're photographing, that the reviewer or the inspector who's actually going to be reviewing it later, they're able to see clearly if there's any danger or there's any damage, and if something needs attention or something needs repair. If they can't see that, then your service is meaningless. There's no point in having your service, okay? Then the third one, of course, is consistency. And the point here is you have to take the exact same picture in the exact same location of the exact same portion of the exact same equipment every time. Now, when I say equipment, that equipment means your cell phone tower. It means your radio tower. It means the windmill. It means the dam, the bridge. It means solar panels, whatever it is that you're taking pictures of. Any one of those things, that's the equipment. And you have to take the exact same picture every single month, every single time. And you can't have 10 pictures one month and 20 pictures the next month. That's not an archive. You have to have the consistent, exact same picture every single month, or every single time you shoot. You might shoot 4 times a month. And here's why. An inspector needs to be able to see the historical data over time. So for example, let's say you're doing a bridge. On that bridge, they need to see the exact same bolt that is attached to a support cable from the same angle in the same position every single time. So they can't have different photos from different angles or distances. So what that means is this is a professional pilot job using a piece of software to maintain that consistency shoot after shoot. Now, currently you can use Ground Station Pro from DJI, and by doing so, you'll be able to program automated missions to fly the same path and to take the same pictures at high resolution every single time. So what you'll be doing is you're flying this path, you go up, fly the path, and you're gonna stop at one point, take a picture, next point, take a picture, next point, take a picture. And you can program all that into Ground Station Pro. Once it's all programmed, your pilot's gonna go out there, load up the mission, and fly the mission, and it's actually a pretty automated process. From that point, your equipment, your drone equipment and your software takes over and is going to do most of the work. However, this does mean that this is going to be relatively not dangerous, but you have to be more aware of certain things like wind, any damage to your equipment or sensors or things like that. So therefore, to do these type of jobs safely, you definitely want to have 5 or 6-way sensors like a Phantom 4 Pro or even an Inspire, so that you're more comfortable flying these missions knowing that you've got a redundant system beyond the GPS, accelerometers, and things like that. You've got sensors that are going to keep you from crashing into the dam, crashing into the bridge, slamming into somebody's solar panel, slamming into a radio tower or cell phone tower or whatever it is that you are shooting, okay? Again, this means Mavic is not sufficient. It only has forward-facing sensors. Again, the Mavic 2 apparently has 6-way sensors, and maybe the Mavic 2, when it comes out, will be sufficient for this, but currently it is not. So those are the 3 important keys. Now, here's what you are delivering once you take these pictures, because you're literally only delivering these pictures, high-resolution photos of your customer's equipment. Now, in this context, again, equipment refers to whatever it is that you're photographing. It could be the bridge, tower, dam, whatever. The key here is to deliver these photos, and I can't emphasize this enough. You have to deliver these photos in an easily understood, organized fashion. And you have to also ensure that this data is delivered securely and in a timely manner. So this is not something that hackers from Russia are going to hack into or something like that. So deliver it securely and in a timely manner. So we want to recommend using a secure service like Dropbox or something like that, that you can organize everything into folders. So for example, you're working for a company and this company is responsible for maintaining a dam, like Friant Dam in Central California. And so you have Friant Dam, and maybe they have 5 dams. So you're going to have one folder called Friant Dam, the second one called Diego Dam, the third one called Damon Dam. And so you've got these 3 dams. When you open up Friant Dam, it has every date, and on that date, you open it up, and it has all of your photos underneath that date in sequence. And those photos have the exact same name and title every single time you do a shoot. So that way someone can look up on August 1st, picture 7 of Friant Dam is here. On August 10th, picture 7 of Friant Dam looks like this. And this is how you get a visual integrity archive. Okay? So let me show you what that would look like. Oops, looks like we duped that. So here's an example. Here's folder. The folder is dated August 20th, 2018. It's a folder from the future. Okay. And then, of course, over here you can see Friant Dam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down. So you can see those images. So every single month there should be, again, a folder. Here's August 20th. Here's September 20th. Here's October 20th. August 20th, September 20th. So here's an example of one that's being done every single month. So you open up each of these folders, and underneath it, when you open up the folder, nested within there are all those pictures of the exact same position. This is the most important part. So if you got 50 pictures in there, those 50 pictures are taken of the exact same position, same angle, same everything. So that every single month we have a historical archive. Think for just a second about how valuable this is for, where was it just recently? There was a bridge that went out somewhere, and this bridge went out, and everybody is being sued. Everybody and their grandma is being sued. Now, we don't want anybody to get sued. However, the insurance company or the maintenance company, anybody could have had their CYA done if they had a visual integrity archive to show what an inspector had gone out there, and apparently, I think this was in New Jersey or something like that, but I can't remember. The point is, there's a visual integrity archive where you can see August, everything looks fine. Oh, September, it's starting to deteriorate. Ooh, October, it looks really bad. And we had our inspector take note of that, and they went out and fixed it. But if an inspector took note of it and sent somebody out to fix it, and that person didn't fix it, they're released from the liability, and the liability is on that person. And then, of course, the insurance company has to pay because they did their job properly inspecting everything. So there's a lot. There's a lot of liability here, and there's a lot involved in the importance of what it is that you're doing here. Which brings us to the what should you charge page, okay? So, what should you charge? Well, this again, my friend, is where you have to put on your big boy pants. I'm going to give you, in the business plan, there's very specific examples of what you can start with. However, I really didn't want to give you a framework because I don't want people saying, well, in our business plan, it said I should charge them $5,000 a month, and you could have charged $50,000. Because this is high level. You guys are literally playing here at a super high level, and the beauty of being in right now is the pricing structure has not been standardized. There is no standardization. Nobody's out there saying, well, what you should pay for this is such and such. Like in cars and computers and other things like that, everybody knows what you should pay. But here, the answer is whatever they're willing to pay. It could be as low as $500 a month for a company with one radio tower in the middle of the jungle, and you go out there and shoot it once a month, to $50,000 a month for someone who's got an oil refinery, or they got power lines or transmission lines or something like that. You're going to make these figures that, depending upon the number of visits, the complexity involved, the distance in travel, the liability, how many of your own pilots you have to have involved in the process. But I do want to give you a general rule of thumb for figuring out what to pay, okay? The good rule of thumb is to find out what they pay right now. Because right now they're paying to have inspections done. Right now they're getting this service done, but they're not using drones. They're doing it with guys in cranes, sending them up there, and they've got a team of men out there working all together to do what you could do with one person in a drone. Find out what they pay now and then offer them your services, the Visual Integrity Archive service, for 50 to 90% off. So you say, when should it be 50, Diego, and when should it be 90? It all depends on your mentality, your guts, and your cojones, man. Because here's the bottom line. The difference between a $10,000 a month job and a $50,000 a month job is your eyes. That's it. Because you go, I think we could probably do it for 10,000. Unless you think that's too much, I could probably do it for 5. But what do you think? You're gonna get what you offer out there. If you know that these guys are spending $100,000 a month to have a whole crew out there doing it wrong, you go out there and say, look, I'll do it this, I'll offer the Visual Integrity Archive service. We charge $50,000 a month, and here's how many times we're going to do it for you, blah, blah, blah. Boom. You go out there and you just tell it to them, you just look them in the bald eye, this is what it is. Okay, let's do it, sign me up. That's the difference, guys. And you can literally leave millions of dollars on the table in this industry, not just thousands, because we're talking about amortized over time. I mean, you do a $50,000 a month contract, what is that, $600,000 a year over 5 years? It's $3 million. This is real money, and I'm not just making this stuff up. This money will be made. There's not a question of, I wonder if anyone's going to start doing this stuff. This money will be made. People are already making it. It's already happening, and it will be made here more and more and more as we go forward in the future in the next 3 to 5 years. So there's no question about if. The only question is who and how much. And my suggestion is that you say, that'll be me, and the most possible. So find out what they pay, and then you offer your service as a discount. Say, I can do better and for cheaper. It becomes a no-brainer sale once you get to that point. So let's talk really quick about the resources that you guys are gonna need, okay? Now, this is not a job like aerial imagery, where you go out and talk to some guy and say, hey, the bird's already in the air. Why don't I take some pictures right now? It's $500. I'll do it for $300. He says, yeah. You shake hands. He writes you a check and you leave. There was no paperwork signed. There was no signing the dotted line. There was no nothing. It was just he gives you a check, even cash, credit card, doesn't matter, and off you go. That's all there is to it. Same with the other business models as well. This one, not so much. This one, you guys are going to need legitimate contracts and agreements. So, good news for you. You are a member of the Sky Network, so we've already taken care of that for you. There is available now in the Dropbox a service agreement, okay? So, before I show you the service agreement, oh, did I have that up already? No, I didn't. Oh, here it was. Here's the inspection services agreement. I hit the wrong button and I got a delay. We have this service agreement right here for you guys, and it's in the Dropbox. And on the back of the service agreement is all this small type. It's all the legalese, the CYA stuff to protect yourself. So you guys can start using this immediately. You can customize it with your own name. So just take off the Sky Network logo and put your own logo on there. Or if you want to get started immediately and you don't want to go find somebody to put that logo on there, we've also provided you with a generic one, which is the same thing you see here, and there is no Sky Eye logo on there. You're simply going to put a statement of your work, put your quote on there, give them the total, and you're good to go. Beyond that, what are the resources you're going to need? Well, number one, you're going to need ganas. Ganas means you're going to have the desire to get out there and make this happen. Okay, so this is not going to happen on its own, and you're going to have to build your business up to the level where you're able to do this. Number two, that's the big boy pants, because this is the real deal, guys. You guys can do real estate and you can do aerial imagery without wearing big boy pants. You can have your Irish kilt and still go out there and make money in those businesses. But when you're going to be in this marketplace, it's time to put on the big boy pants. It's time to be an entrepreneur. It's time to step up to the plate. There's no hand-holding here. This is where you've got your tools, you've got your resources. This is the real deal. You're working with real companies for real contracts, and this is serious business, okay? At a minimum, you're going to need Phantom 4 Pro. So that means that if you're doing your business with a Mavic, you guys can have a business with a Mavic doing the other 3 business plans. I mean, even video production, even though we would encourage you to step up from a Mavic, you still can do it with a Mavic. But here you're gonna need a minimum of a Phantom 4 Pro and Ground Station Pro as well, which is the software that requires an iPad. So you're gonna need to have at least an iPad to work with Ground Station Pro. And then you need some type of service like Dropbox, okay? Dropbox is the easiest one to use, but there's multiple competitors out there who do basically what they do as well. Now, let's talk really quick about how to get customers, because it's incredibly important. This is a sales-based approach, guys. This is not something that you're gonna be able to do by running ads, by sending ads on Facebook or doing a direct mail campaign or anything like that. This, again, is one of the cons. This is a sales-based approach, so you can't be a marketing warrior hiding behind your keyboard, sending out marketing messages, hoping that something's gonna work. It's a sales-based approach, meaning you're gonna have to face-to-face interact with the people who make these decisions and close deals. Because remember, this is a contract. You're gonna be signing contracts with these people. So it's also a longer sales cycle, meaning you're not gonna go to a guy, say, here's what we offer, and go, hey, great, let's sign the contract right now. There's going to be back and forth negotiations. There's going to be talking it through. You're going to be going out on site sometimes, looking at their whatever it is that you'll be inspecting, so that you can do a general inspection of it yourself to see how much work is involved, et cetera, before you can get him a full quote. So there's a lot more involved. It could take you a couple months to close a deal. It could take as quick as a couple of weeks, but it could take a couple of months. What that means is that traditional marketing methods aren't going to bring a very good response. So if you want to go out there and go watch my video on YouTube, or all that stuff is not going to work very well. Emails and things like that are not going to work very well. The traditional marketing methods, this is more of a sales-based approach. The only thing that you're going to really need is probably a brochure, and that's about it. Don't worry, we've taken care of that for you, as we determined that a brochure is necessary. In this marketplace, as you're dealing with people, you need to have something to explain what it is that you're doing that focuses on the hot buttons. And then, of course, we've taken care of it for you. I'll show you that in a second. So beyond that, we want you to use what we call the attack and roll method. The attack and roll method is a very powerful sales method, tried and true, and all you're doing is this. I want to encourage you to write a list of companies that you want to target. This is attack. Then you knock them down. So you say, these are the companies here who are responsible for dams. These are the companies here in my area responsible for bridges. These are the people here responsible for, this is the governing body responsible for the inspections of these dams and bridges and what have you. Here's a company responsible for all the inspections of towers and radio towers and cell phone towers and whatnot. You've got to write this list down, get all their contact information, their physical office location, and then you go after them and you attack them. Oops, too far. You knock them down. Once you knock them down and you got your first client, it only takes your first client. This is where the roll comes in. Attack is I've written them down and I go right after them. Attack. This is not sitting, there's no keyboard warriors here. You got to get out there and go knock on the door and talk to these people. Once you've got your first client, then you roll. Roll means you're rolling out to everybody in their circle of influence, and you use their name as a name drop, and you just keep rolling. Attack, you go after them, and once you have your first client, you roll. And once you've rolled him to, you go out to Mr. Jones, who's in charge of cell phone towers, and then you go to the next company, you say, hey, we're already got a contract with Mr. Jones, we're doing all of his stuff, and that guy's like, oh, I got to work with you then too. So boom, you roll to him, and then you roll to that guy, and you ask him, who are the other guys you know in this industry? And boom, he'll tell you. And then you go roll to all the other ones. So you attack and roll, attack and roll. And that's what we want to encourage you to do. Now, how much money can you make? The answer on this one, again, is pretty simple, guys. If you get a contract for $500 a month, you're making $500 a month. If you get a contract for $50,000 a month, you're making $50,000 a month, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, there's expenses involved in that. That's not the point. The point is how much money you make is completely dependent upon the service, one, that you're offering, and number two, how much ganas you have and how much drive you have and how much personal confidence you have in the value of the service that you're offering. So this is going to be all over the place. And I can tell you, for those who are doing it right now, we are seeing contracts all over the place. We are seeing things, what you see here, from $500 a month to $50,000 a month. We have one of our members right now working on a big contract for a huge inspection plan out of country in South America. And it hasn't happened yet, but this is going to be something that's potentially huge, or it's potentially a scam. So we're working through it right now. But the point is, this is an opportunity as well to make money beyond your immediate vicinity. So you get a contract for somebody, and you're working for somebody here, and let's say you're in Houston, and all of a sudden, you know, they're doing stuff in Houston and in Dallas, and they need you to go over to Oklahoma or Alabama or something like that. Great, no problem. So I don't know what to do, Diego. I don't have any pilots over there. What's the Sky Network for? Let us know. We'll find some people over there who are in other places, and you can hire other people, work with other Sky Network members who are in other areas and hire their pilots and subcontract them. I mean, this is the real world. This is really awesome, incredibly exciting opportunity. So there's a lot of money to make. Now, I mentioned that you don't really need to, most traditional marketing methods aren't going to work very well for you, but you will at least need a brochure. So we've already taken care of that for you. Go ahead and bring up the brochure so you can see the cover of that brochure there. The big headline is Save Time, Save Money, Save Lives. Like we already told you about right there with professional aerial inspection services. You can see currently right now, we've got a big Inspire on the front just because it's a good looking drone and people can see what that is. We decided not to use something like an M210 or an M600 or something like that. This one is more traditional, people can see it, and it's more attainable for most of you as well. Go ahead and show them the inside. So we'll open it up, it's a trifold brochure, and we have there how you can see, here's how you save time, here's how you save money, and here's how you save lives. Oh, it looks like that graphic is wrong. So that third one there should be save lives, and looks like the panel that was created for this mock-up is wrong, so I apologize for that. But anyhow, you guys have the original one. It is in the Dropbox. As soon as we're done here, you guys will be able to bring that up, and you'll be able to take a look at this yourself. It's just like all the other brochures, where you can simply take off the Sky logo, replace it with your logo, and instantly you guys have all of the artwork necessary for you guys to be, boom, save time, save money, save lives. I am in the inspections business. And again, when you're talking to somebody face to face, my encouragement is you use the brochure to show them, here's what we're doing. We save time, we save money, we save lives. Fold it back up, you can go over, you explain it to them really quick, you're gonna leave that with them in the business card, and the negotiation process begins. So we provided you with that tool here already. Now, that brings me to my next point, and we'll get to your questions here really quick. Actually, let me hit your questions first, and then we'll come to the last point I want to make about something else that we're releasing today that we told you we were going to release and that we're excited to release. First, let's get to some questions. So, Chris says, hey, I'm out of water. In case it doesn't come up, what equipment will be required to do these? A minimum of a Phantom 4 Pro, my brother. Of course, you could do beyond that, but that's a minimum. Don says, where do you find what their costs are currently, or do you rely on public math at the spur of the moment? Easy. You ask them. You just straight up ask them, what are you paying right now to have these inspection services done? Let them tell you. Simple as that. Okay, David says, you should add solar farms to that list. Yep, totally. You can totally add solar farms to that list, and there's some other ones as well that you can add. It's obviously not limited to what we've shared with you right here, but there's going to be some very obvious marketplaces that this specific service doesn't apply to. I gave roofing inspections as an example earlier, and there's other examples of ones that you can't use. Yeah, so as well, and we've noted this also in the business plan, but that is, we've provided you guys with a contract, and it's basically a service agreement, and it's all legalese and it passes muster. However, you guys are 100% responsible for covering that with your own with your own attorneys, etc. And we've noted that as well. So you can't say, hey, this is what I got from Sky Network and it doesn't work in Florida. It's not our fault. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to check Florida yourself. So we're going to provide you with the template. We're going to provide you with the baseline, but you need to check with your own attorney. You need to check with your own local laws because, boy, all this stuff is changing. And the bad news is, guys, I hate to tell you this, you need to check not only with your state laws, but now it's getting down as ridiculous as municipal laws. So just do a quick double check. This is real life in the real world. It's the nature of business. You're going to have to check with attorneys to cover your nalgas. Okay. Any other questions? Breck says, for new members, when would you suggest pursuing this venture? How will you know when you are ready? Great question. So, Breck, you're going to know when you're ready when two things happen. Number one, you have a team. So if you've got a photographer, or you don't need a photographer. You got a videographer and a pilot. That's it. You don't even need a videographer, but in the other business models, you're going to be at the point where you have a videographer or two and some pilots. Once you have people who are working with you / for you, meaning you have your own team, That is step number one towards realizing you're ready to move forward to the next level. Number two, when you're at the point where you have the personal confidence, where you're like, my business is kicking butt, I'm running, I'm rolling, and I'm ready to take over the world, confidence is key. Confidence is huge. If you do not have confidence and you go for a large contract, you're going to be destroyed. So you need to have two things. You need to have a lot of personal confidence in your company and your ability to deliver. And number two, you have to have an existing team. When you have an existing team and that personal confidence exists, do it, man. Go for it. And even if you fail your first 1 or 2 times, just try it. Get out there and do it, because it only takes a couple of no's before you get your first yes. And what happens after you get your first yes, just like in all businesses, that first yes creates momentum. And yes, yes, yes keeps coming when you're like, oh, and someone else saying, I can't get it, nobody wants it, which is just not true. It means they're not trying. So those are the two factors I would encourage you to wait for. And when you're there, pull the trigger, brother. Brandon says, what about electromagnetic interference? Won't a radio tower have to be shut down first? That's a good question, one I don't have the answer to, so we'll have to ask Damon. Oh, Damon, Chris, if you have questions, more questions, type them. Damon is here. Well, Damon's not here, but he must be on the chat. So if Damon's on the chat, and if he could answer that question, that would be great, because I have no clue about that. I can tell you from a little birdie, let's just say a little birdie told me that at least a Mavic, and I know Phantoms are better and the other ones are better, I know that Mavics don't have any problems flying near transmission lines and radio towers. I know they continue to fly, whether they're shut down or not. I don't know how I would know, but let's just say that I know, because a birdie told me, because birdies fly where drones are. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's that. Next question. Do you have video footage available for a first client for the attack phase? Video footage, I don't know what you would mean by video footage for that. Oh, I think you're talking about having like a promotional video. If you're talking about a promotional video, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. First of all, I'm going to tell you that I would, like I already mentioned, most of the traditional marketing methods are not that valuable other than a brochure. We have found that all you guys really need out there is a brochure. A video on your website is really not going to help you much. People are not going to look at it. It won't hurt you for sure, but it's not a major effort that we think is that important. Nevertheless, we don't have a video as of now. Nevertheless, in just a second, I'm going to announce the reason why we are going to be announcing what we're going to announce here in just a second, because we are going to create a video. Even though we don't feel that it's necessary and the marketplace has showed us that it's not necessary, even though it's not necessary, it also is not hurtful. So we have a reason why we want to create one, and I'll share that with you in a second. What was the next question right there? David says, what are the EMI/EMC issues associated with cell tower inspections? The answer to that question is, I have no idea. I don't know what EMI nor EMC is. So Damon's on the line, he'll answer that for you. If he's not on the line, what we'll do is we'll get those questions listed, the ones that I don't have the answer to because they're technical questions. Those technical questions, we'll get those listed, and then we'll blast them out to everybody in a response email. I already answered Breck's question there. Tony says, what is the next level drone recommended? Next level drone could be anything. So, I mean, start with the Phantom 4 Pro, and once you're at the Phantom 4 Pro and you're making money, worry about that next step when the time comes. I mean, right now, anything above a Phantom 4 would work. An Inspire is more of an cinematic drone, but that'll work. You know, the M210 definitely is a no-brainer. Roger says this, I'm thinking everything can be subcontracted, and you, the entrepreneur, go after the contract. Viable approach. The answer to that is that's exactly what you should be doing. But when you're subcontracting with people, I would encourage you, those contractors are working for you. So you've got a bunch of pilots that are working for you. They're not employees, they're your contractors, but that is the exact approach. That is, not only is that a viable approach, that is the plan. That is the exact business model, and that is exactly what we're sharing with you. So definitely that's what you want to do. Kyle says, this might have been answered already, but when selling to larger companies, how do I get in contact with them? Do we sell to their marketing team? Thanks. No, you're never selling to the marketing team here. This is inspections. Marketing team has nothing to do with it. In fact, most of these organizations don't even have a marketing team because you're dealing with infrastructure here. When you're talking about dams and bridges and cell phone towers and radio towers and those type of things, this is all infrastructure-based stuff. So The companies who are maintaining these things are the companies who are in charge of them. It could be a power company, it could be the radio tower company, what have you. So do some research on the internet and basically go out there and figure out who is in charge of maintaining, who's responsible for maintaining these infrastructure, the infrastructure equipment that we have around us, and just go for them. Okay, so next question. What Breck, is that right, or is it Brett? No, it is a K. Okay, Breck. What is the estimated window for how long this opportunity will be available prior to market saturation? That is a very good question, but it's also a very hard question to answer. My personal guess is, if Damon's on here, he should jump on too. I'm going to guess he's going to say it's also going to be very regional, so it could be anywhere from 5 to 10 years. However, I would like it to be faster than that. And the reason why I say that is because if Sky Network members, there's enough of you guys out there who get out there and start, lining up these contracts, you guys can become so dominant that the Sky Network members have 90% of the market share in no time flat. And then we have to start looking outside of the country, and you guys start moving into Canada and Mexico and Central America and even, Europe and Asia to start doing the same thing because you have so much experience doing it. And you might say, oh, that's crazy. Oh, we'd be going to the... I'm telling you, the guy we got working with right now, he's looking in South America, a huge project. And these opportunities are all over the place. I can tell you the opportunity in Panama right now is huge for this type of thing. So I want it to happen faster because that means that you guys are going out there and doing it. Because I don't want you getting one contract and going, hey, I got a $20,000 a month contract. This is great. I can live comfortably now. Dumbest thing ever. If you got one, do that 20 times. And that's how you really become a true entrepreneur. Okay, next question. Will you be addressing the construction site management vertical at some time, working with surveyors or developers? Okay, so that is a completely separate marketplace. I will tell you that we are looking in construction and we are doing research on it right now. It's the same problem we have in agriculture and even the same problem we have with inspections. Now, I can tell you that the Visual Integrity Archive service that I just described that this particular market or this particular business plan is all about has a lot of uncanny resemblances to a service you could provide to a construction project. Because a construction project, they don't need a visual integrity archive, but they need a historical progress archive. They need to see what their progress on their construction projects is in as close to real time as possible. You can therefore modify what I'm talking about right now and do the exact same thing on a construction project, and it's a viable service. We just don't have a business plan built around it, but it is incredibly similar, and you can make very simple modifications and tweaks and offer it to that marketplace. And people are already doing it, so it's not just an idea. I mean, people are already doing that, so definitely highly recommended. Doug says, as with all verticals and vertical marketplaces, the challenge is finding the right people, those with the influence and or the money to make the decision. How would you locate the decision makers or the ones who will submit your proposal? This is the attack and roll method, my brothers and sisters. So you're going to have to go out there and do your homework and just go get them. This is why I said one of the barriers to entry in this marketplace is the fact that it's not as easy to find these people. Now, the reality is it's actually not hard. It's not physically difficult. It's just that it's time consuming. And if you're looking for an easy way out, and I'm not talking about Brett or whoever asked that question, I don't think they're looking for the easy way out. I'm just speaking to the whole group. If you're looking for the easy way to go on the internet and click a button and you get a list, it ain't going to happen. This is where it takes straight up old school, roll up the sleeves, go digging, searching, and hunting. You might even have to get in your car. You might have to drive out to a tower, look for a sign, and the sign says, for danger, call such and such a number, and you call that number, and you find out who answered the phone or what was a governing body and authority, and then go find that office and walk into that office and ask them who's responsible for maintenance and inspection. This is just old school, straight up sleuth, sales sleuth methodology of finding out who is the decision maker. So it's not hard work in terms of physically complicated, difficult, or strenuous, but there's no easy way to get a list. So you guys are going to have to get out there and roll up your sleeves and make it happen. Any other question? Nope. We got them? Cool. Okay. So that brings me to my next point. And that point is this. you guys know that we have had the concept, and people have been doing this since the advent of the Sky Network, of being a featured photographer or videographer in the Sky Network. So I don't have any around me, but all the brochures that you guys have, the view from above, the pictures on people's websites and the videos on people's websites, all of the videos, pictures, etc. that we use are all either all Sky Network stuff or stuff that is licensed through DJI. So we're moving now towards everything being all Sky Network stuff, and all the photos that we have is all Sky Network stuff. So anybody who has your work, your picture, your video used in any of our marketing material, you have been called a featured photographer or videographer in the Sky Network, and we've told everybody that you can say that about yourself, that you're a featured photographer or featured videographer in the Sky Network. And many of you, in fact, pretty much all of you guys who are featured videographers and photographers, tell that to your customers and clients, and we encourage you to do so. But we've never done it in any official format until now. So what we want to do now, and we wanted to use this as the opportunity to do it, go ahead and bring up my presentation again here. What we want to do now, here we go, is we've created a couple of icons. And these icons or graphics or badges, whatever you want to call them, we have a badge for featured photographers. Hey, check that out, my hand disappears. Woo! We have a badge for featured photographers and a badge for featured videographers. And these badges are going to be used in the future in 3 places. 1, all of your printed marketing materials. 2, on your website. 3, on your membership ID card. Meaning, if you are a featured photographer or a featured videographer, this is something that you can now highlight. Thank you. So here's an example. You know, we got the view from above here, and all these pictures, these are all taken by Sky Network members. All these pictures are taken by Sky Network members, all of them. Of course, all these pictures as well. Ooh, this is glossy. Oh, this is taken by Scotty and Zach. I think Zach took that picture because I remember when he did it. Same thing. All of our promotional materials, you can become a featured photographer, videographer. Now just think about what it means for a minute, particularly in some of the more entry-level business plans like photography, aerial imagery, or real estate photography, and video production. This is huge. So if you're doing video production, would you rather just be a video company, or would you rather be a featured videographer in the largest network of professional drone entrepreneurs in the world? It has a lot of clout. It used to have clout when you just said it, but now it's an official badge that you can put on all of your marketing material, and that you can also put on your membership ID card. So your membership ID card, if you become a featured photographer or videographer, we are now going to print those badges on the back of your ID card underneath the barcode. So this is all going to be added to it. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is because there really isn't a pressing need for a video in the inspections marketplace because it's just not necessary. It's not something you're going to be, people aren't going to randomly find your website and randomly watch some video and go, oh, this is what we need to do. It's a sales process. You're going to go over there and knock on their door and talk to them, hand them the brochure, and take it from there. Now, if you had that whole same process and you're talking to them and you had, for example, a video on your iPad to show them, it would be helpful. So because it will be helpful, what we decided we want to do is now release the featured photographer and featured videographer in official fashion, because going forward, what we're going to be doing is creating asset lists. So in the past, currently right now, you guys all know you can go into your membership portal and submit your photos and videos to us, and then we randomly select them and randomly select them. However, we're in a major growth phase of the Sky Network, and we're creating a lot of new content, and we're going to be revising some of the old materials as well. And that being said, just to keep everything fresh all the time, that being said, we're going to, in the future, and it's going to start today, we are going to be creating asset lists. And an asset list is simply, we need a photo of this, a photo of that. We need a video of this. We need a 20-second clip of that, whatever. And we'll create this asset list, and the asset list will be posted in the membership portal. And as we post those things in the membership portal, you guys and gals can go out there, take those pictures and videos, send them up to us for consideration to be used in marketing material. If we select what you shot, first of all, it's great. It's a great practice opportunity for you. But if we select it, then you become a featured photographer and videographer, and you will go into our list of featured photographers and videographers. And this also becomes a more exclusive list internally in our database when referrals and things like that come out and people say, hey, you know, we need someone who's a professional in Southern California. Well, if we've got, let's just say, you know, a year or two from now, we got 500 drone entrepreneurs in Southern California. There's a lot of you. There's 500 of you guys who are all members, and we like all of you, and you're all friends, and you're all nice people, but only 35 of you are featured photographers or videographers. So we're going to lean more heavily as this being a scoring method internally for us to look to for who we would give referrals to more quickly in terms of who we know is going to do a better job, because you're already a featured photographer and videographer. There's, of course, other things we're going to do internally when it comes to pilot levels, but pilot levels is different from the company being a featured photographer or videographer. So that being said, here's what we're going to do today. Later this afternoon, the entire network is going to get an email that's going to describe the featured photographer and videographer program, along with an asset list that we've created for a video for the inspections industry. So we will create a video. It will be a professional short video that will probably be 50% of the video will be made up of clips that we get from you guys. And then we will make a professional video that, of course, will be made available to all gold and silver members. And that will be part of you know, the Sky Network going forward in terms of sales and marketing collateral that you guys all have access to. So that will, of course, is something that we're going to encourage people to put on their website as well. Once that happens, there's not a major priority on it in terms of we don't need to turn that around in 30 days. But we're going to send that out to you guys and say, you know, send this to us. Send us these images on this asset list in the next 1 to 2 months. We'll have our team work on that, and probably by the end of the year, we'll be releasing a bonus to the inspections business plan, which of course will be the inspections promotional video for you guys to put. You can put on your website, but when the time comes, I'm going to encourage everybody to have it on an iPad, because where you're going to use that is, again, in a face-to-face meeting. You have the brochure, you shared it with them, and you can just pull out a 60-second video to give them a real quick idea of what the inspection services would do for them. Okay, wow, we went a whole lot longer than I ever imagined, but that's all right. We're getting your questions answered. Any other questions you guys have, bring back the Q&A here. We'll go back to Q&A. If you guys have any other questions, we'll knock those out. Otherwise, we're 30 minutes over. I told you guys we would take 30 to 45 minutes. I thought we would take 45, even though we said I only needed 30. But we went over that. So, Don says, is there already an example of a proposal for drone aerial inspection service available to use as a guide to build from? Yeah, there is. So I mentioned that earlier, and it's called in fact, this is, bring that picture back up. You can bring that up. Nope, not that one. That's the one. So it's called the Inspection Services Agreement. It is already right now in the Dropbox. You guys can go open up the Dropbox and you'll see it there. And there is a customizable version where you can put your logo on it. And then there's a generic version you could just start using immediately. Rian, what's up, my brother? Good to hear from you. He said the custom brochure is not currently in our customized link. At which point will it be added to the Dropbox link? So it's not customized, brother. If you want it customized, you're going to have to get it customized on your own, because this is done after the fact. So if you're a gold member and we customize all your stuff, any new stuff that we create later on in the year, new stuff that you get, annual new stuff you get, that is not included as something that we customize for you. It's something you have to customize on your own. So in your Dropbox, now when I say Dropbox link, you have every one of you guys who is a gold member have your own personal Dropbox link for all of your customized stuff. And then there is the Sky Network-wide Dropbox link that you get to from the membership portal. That is where all of this material is existing right now. So that's where you want to go right now. Roger says, any thoughts on doing Spanish language voiceovers and translated resources? The answer is no. So we're not going to do that. If you want to do one because that is your marketplace and you've got a lot of opportunity in that marketplace, go for it. If you're a gold or silver member, you have the license to use our content, so you can take the script and you can take it to be professionally translated, have somebody do a professional voiceover and re-edit the video and use it as is, and you are licensed to do so because you're a Sky Network member, brother, and those are the benefits. And my thoughts on that would be crazy cheap to do that. That's not expensive at all. I mean, the voiceover, just use voicetalentnow.com and a 60-second Spanish voiceover would cost you $50, $49 to be exact. So then, of course, if you've got your own editor, they can just plop that right on top of the existing video, and you can get a video done for $50 or just a little bit more than that, if that's what you want to do. Frank says, any insurance requirements beyond our normal coverage and companies that do it? The answer to that is, again, yes. Definitely address that with your insurance company, and Damon can answer that at greater length if he's on here. But you definitely want to make sure when you're working in this industry, insurance is a big, important, it's kind of a big no-brainer that that's something you're going to want to be covered for. Frank, no, we just had Frank. Brandon. Okay. Cool. Love it. So Gina says, by the end of 2018, promotional video. So I'm not saying it's by the end of 2018, you guys. I'm not saying that at all. It might not be here till 2075. The point is, we're going to give you guys the opportunity to become featured videographers and photographers with a specified asset list that is starting today. And once we get those assets from you guys, now you guys might turn those assets around to us in like 2 weeks. And then if you turn around to us in 2 weeks, we might go, okay, cool. Based on our task list and our priority list, we might push it to the top or we might not. Because I can tell you it's not a priority for you to do this business. Not at all. Anybody who waits, so I'm waiting for that video, so I go, all you're telling me is you're never going to do this business anyways, period. If you're waiting for a video to do business that you don't need to do, you're never going to do it anyhow. This is just going to be something that is gravy, the cherry on top for people who are already crushing it. So maybe it'll be ready by the end of 2018, maybe not. Cool. Rusty Bobby says, you did not mention roof inspections, which is what I do a lot of. So Rusty Bobby, I did mention that at the very beginning of the presentation. In fact, I mentioned it very specifically, being not what this inspections business model is about, because that is a completely separate business model altogether. If you do a lot of roof inspections, awesome. Keep on doing it. Keep on crushing it. We're all in favor of it. We got a lot of people who are doing roof inspections. And there's other types of inspections out there as well that people are doing a lot of that are not really under the umbrella of the Visual Integrity Archive. So just note that. Anything else? Did I get another question here? Nope. Okay, guys, we are super excited for you because this is ready to rock and roll now. So this is in the Dropbox now. You guys can sign off and open up the Dropbox and download the business plan under the business. It was so funny. The last time we had a business plan released, which was the video production one, we had somebody saying, I've looked everywhere in the Dropbox for the business plan of video production. I can't find it. And we said, it's in the folder called business plans. And they go, oh, there it is. It was hilarious. So same thing. It's in the folder called business plans. Open up the folder called business plans. There's the one there. You'll see it now called inspections. Download it, print it out, learn it, love it, live it, and share your successes with us. We want to know how you guys are crushing it out there. The brochure, of course, is in a separate folder under brochures, and the services agreement is in a separate folder called inspections service agreement. You'll see it when you open up the Dropbox folder. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Baker says, I just looked in the Dropbox and didn't see the plan or flyers. Just go in there alphabetically under the folder business plans, open that up, and that's where it is. Okay, so guys, we've gone past our time, but we're excited to share this with you guys. Later this afternoon, we are going to be sending out, like I said, the asset list for you guys to become featured photographers and videographers, which is also a great opportunity for each and every single one of you guys. And those of you guys who are already featured photographers and videographers, we will be rolling out here your icons, your graphics, and your badges that you can start using immediately as well. So you'll have those badges. In fact, bring it back up really fast. You guys will have these badges right here that will be at your disposal, so you can use, you'll get the original graphics in vector format so you can put them on all of your marketing material. All right, guys, get out there and crush it. Take care. We love you, man. We love you. And we can't wait to see you guys next month on next month's regularly scheduled webcast. Take care. We're out.